All right. So it looks like overnight we have actually come up and bounced off of a little bit of a sweep. Okay, whatever. Um, and we're heading up towards this weekly fair value gap, as you can see there. On the 1 hour, we're taking out these relative equal highs here. So it's possible that there may be a short if everything else lines up. And not displacing out of there yet. Today we have, before we get into the charts all the way, we've got unemployment claims in 30 minutes, and then Trump speaking, and we also have several orange folders. One is all day, and one is crude oil. At the same time, Trump is speaking. So I'd expect the New York Open, to be pretty crazy into the whole AM session. So be a pretty active morning, I'm thinking. Um, but yeah, 15-minute chart. Yeah, we're just taking out these levels. We'll see what happens up here, basically. Um, we also got the lows here to keep an eye on for maybe a long or something. All right. Regular trading hours, we're just gonna have a nice big gap up. So it makes sense to soup this and then come and fill that gap possibly. And on the Dow Jones, also gapping up, also relative equal highs, sweeping, and we are already in the bearish weekly fair value gap. So that's interesting. We may already have a reason to reject here, and we have an inversion fair value gap there, and an order block there. So it's all lining up. Could reverse anywhere into here, maybe the CE of this, but it could literally just reverse as soon as it taps into this. Doesn't need to go that high. ES, what's happening here? ES is lower. We're getting relative strength in the Dow Jones. We've slowly made our way lower here. That is not a 4 hour. Why did I say the 4? It's a 1 hour. That's weird. We've already souped that area of interest here. We have a 1 hour market structure shift with the level there, lined up with the order block. So I kind of like that. And then we got smooth highs all here manufactured overnight. We came down into a 4 hour fair value gap, discount of the range, and now we're going to see if we're going to keep heading higher or we're going to reject there. So we did bounce off this order block and the 4 hour there. Daily, we've almost completely rebalanced yesterday's candle on that downside move. So that's pretty interesting. Now we have failed to displace, so I'm liking that we're doing that. That's exactly what I want to see if we're starting to flip bearish or something. But either way, um, it could still head higher though. So we got to keep that in mind. There's nothing in the charts yet making me really bearish yet. But yeah, 1 hour, 15-minute We've got the looks like there's a little gap in here somewhere, and let's check it out. Huh. We just had a big gap there. Yeah, so there's just a big old gap into this area. Um, and we've let's see, have we gapped up? No, we've gapped down, sort of down into this. So a little gap down. That could line up with all this, taking all these smooth highs for the short. So it's looking pretty good if there's a short. It'd be really easy to frame risk here. 2022 model short. But yeah, 15-minute. We didn't take out yesterday's London, but yeah, not much, not much else to say here other than this is the obvious level I'd look for today for short if I was to get one. Um, and then longs, we'll see. We'll see. Let's check out SPY. SPY has those relative equal highs here. Gaps there. Extended trading hours, just a gap there. And yeah, not much different. Similar levels. We got these old relative equal highs here. Um, they're not super clean, so maybe on ES. This is just like a support resistance area, and we already. So yeah, we did come above that, and already we did soup that. So not sure how important that is, but it could, we could come back down just as a minor soup. Um, yeah. And if we are going to really reject, you would expect a discount all the way back down here maybe. But that's too far to tell. NASDAQ has also rebalanced and made it so that there's no shift above this high. It has not taken out this high, but Q's has. And on the 4 hour, we have sort of created a displacement. And on the 1, we have shifted here. So shifted below this, and now we've shifted here. Yep. So there is a shift here. That's bearish. Um, and it may be it's not here on the 4, but it's taken out this displacement with another displacement. So it's kind of inverted this area. So it very well could be a short if it is going to be a short um, into this range, but we'll see. 1 hour, just this bunch of inefficiencies here. We got that inversion here on the 4, so I'm going to mark that out. Oops. Mark that out. It's yellow. Forgot to label it for. So there's a 4 hour inversion there. Yeah, nice. Looks pretty good. All right, 15-minute chart. Let's just dull this down a bit more. It's too bright. So this was that breakout leg at yesterday's morning session. We've come down and souped that, reaccumulated. It's likely this could easily be what they're framing to get long back again. Um, yeah, Q's, similar story, very clear shift here. Um, similar inversion there. And what else? I have to go to the bathroom. Holy. Big gap up. Big old gap up there on the regular trading hours. And we've come down a bit, but not during regular trading hours. So I'm gonna quickly wrap this up. I really gotta go to the bathroom now. Russell has been just rejecting even since yesterday. It's looking pretty bearish. It's souping these highs. It looks very bearish. That's exactly what you want to see. It always comes up and then comes down and then gets a last little soup there. Maybe if there's equal highs here too. Yeah, we sort of manufactured those, swept those out. That's what you want to see for a short. Looks like there's a 4-hour inversion now here. Um, but back to the daily, we've taken out the daily displacement. Yeah, looking real bearish. This has inverted this with another 1 hour there. Maybe, yeah, we'll just go down the time frames. Very clear market structure. Not really. On the 4 hour, was it? Yeah, quick market structure shift there. This is a very obvious level right into this 15-minute. Yeah, just coming lower, and looks like it's going to be hard to draw a target here, but it would seem like it would want to come lower. Stock index, much more clear here. Relative equal highs were more obvious with a nice, very obvious shift down. So that is looking very bearish, at least for a discount as a target on the higher time frame. And now let's jump to regular trading hours. Yeah, just a big old gap there. It could just be feeling that as an easy, low-hanging fruit target. So we'll watch that. And it lines up with this gap too, so makes sense. So yeah, those are the indices. Now let's check out SMT. YM has swept these highs out. Oh man, I hate it when they do this. Boom. Okay. So at the lows, um, we had this low come in here. We made lower lows on YM. So we had very obvious SMT there. Move back up here. We had bearish SMT there. Move back down. We all set that low in. Russell keeps heading lower. Dow Jones takes out this high. And now we're still much weaker on these indices. So I think that's sort of, as this low goes though, we have this low, this low here. Okay, we need to just focus on, let's just focus on these three real quick. Russell's throwing me out. So starting from this move up, ES and NASDAQ have taken out this low. This was the low that Dow Jones made SMT here, giving the longs. Made a higher low here. We came down. That was the explosive move in yesterday's open. Then we souped that on the Dow and created SMT, bearish SMT here. Now we've been transferring weakness into the others. They've been selling off. Dow Jones has not done that. It's actually shot back up into this pullback, but it's souping these highs out. So this could very well be the short, but it's not occurring into a key time. So yeah. As for longs, there's no real SMT yet. Maybe Nasdaq's looking really weak, so it could easily come lower. ES is coming down with Nasdaq, so that's actually a signature that maybe this is going to be a real actual sell-off if we are going to sell off. So yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom. But currencies, not much has changed. Gold's finally really reversing here. Crypto has started to pull back a little. Nothing crazy. It's just been in the exact same area we've been in all week. So Um, as a higher time frame area of interest, it's hard to say, but oops. Um, the flows were still bearish. Let me look at my yesterday's analysis in the day. So I was thinking before the overnight action, obviously, I want to see a short and Russell show strength versus YM to get short, and then same thing, smaller time frame on the points of interest on SPY and Nasdaq, long as we dip lower, and if we make so if we come down and make SMT at some sort of lows, then I like longs, is what I was saying, and then if Russell shows strength versus the Dow, then that's going to be an obvious short on the Dow or the Russell. So yeah, we are getting some movement here before 8:30, so it's kind of interesting. Need to see morning price action overnight, and if it dips down with displacement, that can mean we are bearish for real and watch for retracement short. Otherwise, I could see the high gain taken if we range overnight. Yeah. So because we're sort of displacing lower, um, especially here on Nasdaq, it does seem pretty bearish. So sort of displaced on everything. Now Dow Jones is taking out that liquidity high. Um, so it is kind of a complicated range since YM souping highs and it may come down, but it's been very strong and not very weak here. So, but it is souping this high. That is very clear. You know, on the 5 minute, it's created a little short setup. So, but just a reminder, the flows. Um, SPY puts were rising all day yesterday, but most of the volume was in the calls, and calls were down, especially into the end of the day, though price did move down, so that makes sense. Um, but that is pretty bearish, calls being sold there. And then Tide was bullish into the morning, kind of made a correction into the end of the day, or into the middle of the morning, and then was basically oscillating back and forth with price until the end of the day, where we sold off in the calls, and puts had been rising ever since the middle of the day. Actually, since the beginning of the day. So it does look like we're flipping bearish there. It looks like we're ready to be bearish. Especially with this movement overnight, it does look like the tide is going to open up bearish. So I would want to get into some sort of manipulation short here, probably. Um, IWM, unclear, flat, choppy puts and calls, though into the end of the day was trending bearishly. Um, Dow Jones had some unusual flows. Usually doesn't have too much premium, but it was very bullish. Sorry, but yeah, nothing unusual there. Q's puts rose basically after the morning pump, and then calls rose only into the highs, only to be resold as we came back down. So they're just oscillating those calls with puts rising the last 2 days. So with Trump speaking today, it just seems like they are preparing for a dump. So there is a catalyst now, unlike the last several days. So I think I am looking for a short. I want to see some sort of SMT to get short off of into an area of interest. The only areas of interest I see are this 1 hour on ES, same thing on NASDAQ. NASDAQ may not even come up above that. We have the soup happening here on the Dow Jones, but that had bullish flow, so I'm not going to trade that short. And Russell's already dumping. Seems like I've already missed any sort of move that may happen there. There may be longs though, um, so we'll see. But as for now, very tricky. I'd have to really zoom in and start taking this apart. So other than that, it just seems like, yeah, there is maybe a short here. Um, so I'm just gonna watch the news, see if we create any sort of SMT into a key area, and then that's it.